What's going on? Was doing some podcast recording today, and in that particular episode, the topic of self-care, as it normally does, came up. And man, what a great discussion. And so I informed them, as just as I will continue to inform you of the upcoming self-care summit. But then the conversation really took a turn, and I started thinking, what if people don't know what I mean when I say self-care? What if they have a definition of it that they're holding to, but it's really not being productive or it's not good for them? And so I think what that did for me was like, oh, wait, maybe I should start there. It kind of woke me up to something. So this particular video, this one here, I'm going to answer 4 questions for you. One is, what is self-care? Two is, why does it matter? Three is, what is the key to it? And 4, what is it that you get? Like, why does Rob harp on self-care practices? Like, why does he just keep talking about this over and over and over again? But what is it that you get from having a set of healthy self-care practices? That is what I'm going to cover in this video. But before I answer those questions, I am going to play a little music so you can hit the subscribe button, hit the blue bell or the whatever color bell it is to make sure you get the notifications, because I want to make sure you hear the latest and the greatest about the healthy self-care practices as we talk about it from battlefield to breakthrough. What is self-care? And I'm going to read this straight from my notes so I don't make it up, and then I kind of riff from there. But I have it, or as I tell it to my clients, self-care refers to a set of intentional activities and practices that individuals engage in to promote their physical, mental, and spiritual health. Self-care can encompass a wide range of activities, but from your daily activities or your daily habits to, the things that you treat yourself on, it's all a way to nurture yourself and maintain a balanced and healthy lifestyle. That is what I mean when I talk about self-care. That is what the summit is about. That's the heart of what my work is about, is my way of ending human suffering, my way of getting people to ignite their resilience is through promoting self-care. And so that is the definition of it. But why does it matter, Rob? Why does the way you say it matters? The fact that it helps you maintain this whole person health that I talk about: adequate sleep, proper nutrition, regular exercise, relaxation, reducing those risks of chronic illness and diseases, inflammation in the body, just gives you a more resilient system. We used to have this thing in the military called whole person airmen. And this when they said that you had to be great at your job and great in your community and great in your relationships. It was a whole person. And that's what we're looking at with the healthy self-care practices, is not only just one area, but the 3 areas that come together that make our human experience. And that leads me into the next question of, what is key to self-care? Simple: balance. Balance in between your spiritual, your physical, and your mental health. All right. So in spiritual health, that self-awareness, that self-discovery, the knowing of who you really are, that's what's most important. And you hold to that. It's the formless belief. It's the connection to mind, as I say, for me, the connection to God, the universal creative energy of life. But in our spiritual health, that is the highest level of fulfillment we'll ever have. And that is deep within us. All right. Then you have our mental health, our psyche. It makes up the way we interact in the world. I'm a speaker, I'm a coach. So a part of my mental health is taking care of myself in a way that I mentally, so I can mentally be prepared to take that on as a responsibility to provide for me and my family. And physical health obviously is one that pretty much everyone is confused forever with overall health. I remember people used to give me the moniker of being healthy just because I had a certain level of body fat percentage. And I really look at it now and laugh at, man, I really couldn't work myself out of anything emotionally or spiritually at that time, and probably should not have been considered healthy. But nevertheless, I got it. And, I continue to do what I continue to do, and to finding this understanding. And that's what's key about our spiritual, our mental, and our physical health. It's the balance we have between how they all operate within our life. And so with all that being said, with the why, the what, the blah, 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 Rob, what do you get in exchange? Well, first, you get some reduced stress. because there is a level of peace and comfort and joy that comes with knowing who you are and how your mind works. Right. So that anxiety that kind of ruins a lot of your days kind of dissipates over time. I'm not saying overnight, but it's possible because you're only ever one thought away, as my mentor says, from a totally new experience. High performance and productivity. That's another thing. It's almost like a byproduct when you tap into this inner resilience. It's like being fueled from the most accurate power source that you've ever been attached to in your life. That's part of what happens when we prioritize our self-care and we implement within our lives intentionally healthy self-care practices. And something that everybody love is a meaningful personal and professional relationship. Just you being better. you know, the self-care practices helped me be a better person, which made people want to be around me more. That and my relationships really took on a less tense, for sure, um context. But man, what began to happen was the love began to just ooze through them. So that's something else that's offered to you when you have healthy self-care practices in place in your life. So those were the four questions I wanted to answer. What is self-care? Why is it important? What's the key to it? And then what do you get from it? Take this and really listen to it and look at the possibility of joining the summit to hear more of practically how we make that happen. The summit, August 31st, is going to be the practical application of this spiritual nature teaching that I talk about, the inside out understanding. Healthy self-care practices is just that, practically. That's it. So I look forward to seeing you there again. Thank you for listening to this video. Don't forget to subscribe and have the day you deserve.